après-ski make along. We are now up to part 6 and our penultimate instalment. And this week, we're going to finish off our sleeves, giving us all the main sections of our jumper. Let me introduce you to our new techniques for part 6, and we're going stripy. For part 6 and our final section of our sleeve, we've broken it down into 4 steps. Step 1, we're working vertical stripes in double crochets using our tapestry crochet technique in the round. And here it's really important to manage your tension when carrying that yarn across, that we still have a nice amount of stretch in our sleeve. And you're trapping the yarn as you go, so you can't see any floats on the inside. And it makes this really lovely graphic stripe that contrasts with our horizontal bands of our sleeve. So our step 2 is then working in our blue, making our lovely ribbed effect with our single crochet back loop. Step 3, we've got a stripe of our pink in double crochet. And then step 4 finishes off our sleeve working in double crochets in our orange. And this section you're able to increase or decrease depending on if you want to edit your sleeve length. And by completing all those steps, we finish up part 6 and complete our sleeves. I'm now going to take you step by step through part 6. So you want to grab your yarns, your tools and started sleeves and come work along with me. To work my part 6, step 1, I'm going to be working my tapestry crochet horizontal stripes. And I want to start off with my red mix, and I'm going to be using my red mix and my lilac yarns for this section and step 1. So I'm going to take my yarn and put it on my hook. So I'm going to work my slip knot and put that on my hook, ready to start. And I want to join in at the underarm point, so where I've fastened on my round below on my previous part. And I'm going to tuck that end just in the back. And now I'm going to join in with a single crochet, and I'm working my colour change technique again. So I'm coming from the back, so through the top of the stitch from the back, over the front of the stitch, through the top of the stitch to the back again, yarn round hook, pull through all of those stitches from the round below, 2 loops on my hook, yarn round hook to pull through both to complete my single crochet join. And I'm now ready to do 2 chains, so 1, 2, to get my height. And this first stitch acts as a fake double crochet. So I now want to do 1 full double crochet, so yarn round hook, and I'm working in my same colour change method, so back, round the front, back, yarn round hook, pull through all of those mint stitches. I've got 3 loops on my hook, yarn round hook, pull through 2, yarn round hook, pull through 2. And now I'm working another double crochet, but I'm going to be switching to my lilac in the very last stage. So I'm going yarn round hook, joining in the same, so back, round the front, back, yarn round hook, pull through those mint stitches. I've got 3 loops on my hook, yarn round hook, pull through 2, and then leaving that very last stage of the double crochet on my hook. I'm now going to introduce my lilac yarn. I want to leave an end, and I can pinch that yarn to bring it in to hold it in place. Yarn round hook, and I'm going to pull through those 2 loops on my hook and give that red a little tug to complete the stitch. And the reason we work the last section in our new colour is because how our double crochets end is they come up and then come across. And if I'd worked this in red, I would have a dash of red coming over my stripe and not giving us really nice crisp edges. So I now want to work 2 full double crochets in my lilac, but also I want to trap my lilac end and my red working yarn as I go, so they're carried in between the stitches. So to do that, I'm going to pinch them along the top of my work, hold them here, yarn round hook. I'm going over the top of those ends to work my join method. So I'm coming from the back to the front, over the front to the back. And then you want to have your ends and your working yarn that you're carrying across on the top. So line them up with the top of your work. So when you're coming through, and we go yarn round hook and pull through to the front, they get trapped by your yarn. So through to the front and then all the way through. So you then pull through to the back. You've worked through all of those mint stitches. And so now your ends and your travelling yarn are trapped there, and I come up, I go yarn round hook, pull through 2, yarn round hook, pull through 2 to complete my double crochet. I'm now going to work another full double crochet. So I'm going yarn round hook. I come over the top of those ends. I go from the back to the front to the back with my hook. Then make sure those ends are along your top edge. So your hook is coming underneath them. Then I'm going yarn round hook and I'm pulling through all of those mint mix stitches. I've got 3 loops on my hook, yarn round hook, pull through 2, yarn round hook, pull through 2, and my ends have been trapped in my stitch. So now I'm working my final lilac double crochet of my set of 3. And because it's my final one and then we're going back to red, it will be an unfinished double crochet. So I'm going yarn round hook, over the top of those ends, back, front, back. Make sure those ends are above your hook. Yarn round hook, pull through all of those mint mix stitches. So you've got your 3 loops. Yarn round hook, pull through 2. When you've got 2 loops left on your hook, I'm going to drop my lilac and pick up my red to finish the double crochet. So yarn round hook, pull through 2, and then you can just give that lilac a little tug. And now I'm ready to start my 3 double crochets in red. So I'm going yarn round hook in my red mix, over those ends. I'm going back, front, back for my colour join. Make sure that lilac is running along the top of your stitches so your hook is underneath. Yarn round hook, pull through all of those mint mix. Come up, you've got 3 loops on your hook. Yarn round hook, pull through 2. Yarn round hook, pull through 2. And then I've got one more complete red mix double crochet. So yarn round hook, over those ends, back, front, back for my join. Yarn round hook, pull through everything that's mint. I've got 3 left on my hook. Yarn round hook, pull through 2. Yarn round hook, pull through 2. And I've got my last double crochet, so it will be an incomplete double crochet. So I'm going yarn round hook, over the top of those ends, back, front, back, yarn round hook, pull through all of those mint stitches. I've got 3 on my hook, yarn round hook, pull through 2, leaving my last 2. I'm going to drop my red mix, pick up my lilac to complete the stitch. So yarn round hook, pull through those 2 loops, give the red mix a bit of a tug, and now I'm ready to start my lilac double crochet. So if you turn your work to the inside, you can see that your ends and your non-working yarn at the time is traveling through your stitches, so we don't see any loops or floats at the back. They're trapped in your stitch. And we're going to work that repeat all the way round our sleeve. So now I'm working 2 complete double crochets in my lilac, in my colour join method. And for the last double crochet of your set of 3, you work an incomplete double crochet. So you leave the very last step because you drop your working colour, you're picking up your next colour, yarn round hook, pull through the 2 stitches, give your previous colour a little tug to tighten up your stitch, and then begin working in your next colour. So you're working 2 full double crochets and then 1 incomplete double crochet, which you will finish off in your next working colour. Working this repeat all the way around your sleeve till you get to where you started off your round 1. And as you work your way around, hopefully your stripes have added up with your right stitch count. And on your last double crochet, you're working an incomplete double crochet, and you're going to take your red mix yarn to finish that last double crochet. So pull through, pull your lilac, and then we're going to join our round. So I'm tucking my mint mix tail on the inside of work, and I'm going to join in the second chain. So we had our single crochet join and then 1 chain, 2 chain, join in the top of the second chain to complete your round. So slip stitch join, and hopefully you haven't pulled too tight with your non-working yarn. So that's something just keep an eye on for this section. When you're traveling your yarn through, that you don't pull the yarn that you're traveling through too tight because you don't want to ruche in your sleeve. And that's our first round of our vertical stripes. I'm now going to begin round 2. So to start our round 2, I'm going to single crochet in the stitch where I've joined. So I'm coming back in, yarn round hook, pull through. So I've got 2 loops on my hook, yarn round hook, pull through 2. And then I'm going to chain 2 for my height, 1, 2. And I'm going to be following the same repeat. So I want to pick up my lilac so I can travel that along. And I'm going to work now 1 more complete double crochet. So yarn round hook, working in to the top of the stitch now, as we're not working our colour change anymore. So through the whole top of stitch, make sure that lilac yarn is running along the top so we can trap it. Yarn round hook, pull through to the front. I've got my 3 loops, yarn round hook, pull through 2, yarn round hook, pull through 2. I'm now going to work on my incomplete double crochet. So yarn round hook into the top of the stitch. Make sure that traveling yarn is lying across the top. Yarn round hook, pull through. I've got my 3 loops, yarn round hook, pull through 2, leave my 2, drop my red and pick up my lilac, yarn round hook, pull through 2 to close the stitch. Give my red a little tug and then line up along the edge. I'm going to work 2 complete lilac double crochets through the top of the stitch. My last one of my set of 3 will be an incomplete double crochet. So I've left my 2 loops on my hook, drop my lilac, pick up my red, yarn round hook, pull through both to close, give that lilac a tug and keep working. So now I've got 2 complete double crochets in red and then 1 incomplete, working over the top of my lilac, trapping it and traveling the colour along. My last one, drop my red, pick up my lilac, yarn round hook, pull through 2, give my red a little tug. And you want to carry on around the whole of the round. And you're going to be repeating this round until you have a total of 8 rounds of tapestry crochet vertical stripes. So keep working this repeat. And when you get to the end, join in your second chain, working up until you have 8 full rounds, counting that first round of tapestry crochet, double crochet stripes in your vertical stripes. Once you've got to the end of your final round, your last part of your stitch will be in your red mix through your final double crochet to finish it off. And we're going to join with a slip stitch in that second chain to complete the round, and then work 1 extra stitch, loop round, pull through to fasten off. So take your scissors, snip your red mix and your lilac mix and pull through your red to fasten off your round and finish your step 1 with your tapestry crochet vertical stripes. And you just want to make sure that you haven't pulled too tight. You can see I've still got a nice bit of stretch with my stripes. And you've got your full 8 rounds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're now ready to start step 2. And step 2 is in our blue. And we're starting with that on our hook. So I'm working my slip knot and placing that on my hook. And for step 2, we're working our single crochet in the back loop rib section. So we want to actually start on the wrong side of the work. So rather than starting on the right side, I'm going to turn my piece around and I'm going from the inside of my sleeve. And so I'm going to join in the top of that first stitch. I'm going through the top of that stitch, yarn round hook, pull through. I've got 2 loops on my hook, yarn round hook, pull through both. And then I can put my ends across and I can actually take my red end, my lilac end and my blue tail and hold them together to work over the top of all of them. And I'm just working into the top of the stitch with a single crochet. For my first round, I'm just working single crochet through the top of the stitch on the wrong side of the work. So I come in, got my 2 loops, yarn round hook, pull through both, and then working over those ends, trapping them as I go. So just hold those ends along the top edge and you can trap them in as you go. And I'm just working 1 single crochet through the top of the stitch all the way round for my first round. Once you've worked into every stitch of the round, we're going to join. So we're going to work through the top of that first single crochet join, working a slip stitch to join our round. I'm then going to turn my work. So I'm now on the right side of my sleeve to work round 2. So I'm going to chain 1. And now I'm going to single crochet in the back loop of every stitch of my round. So I'm working one single crochet in the back loop only, all the way around my sleeve. And once you get all the way around, you're going to join in the top of that first stitch with a slip stitch. And then you're going to turn your work again. So we're now on the wrong side. So the inside of our sleeve, I'm going to chain one for my height, and then I'm working back around, working single crochets in the back loop of the stitch all the way around. And this is round 3 of step 2. And when you get to the end of your round, we're going to join again by working a slip stitch through the top of that first stitch. Sometimes it's a bit tight, so you just have to wiggle it through. A slip stitch to join your round, and then turn. And for our final round of step 2, I'm going to chain one and work one last round, working one single crochet in the back loop of each stitch. So working back loop only, get that back loop, one single crochet in the back loop of each stitch all the way around. And when you get to your final stitch, we're going to join the round with a slip stitch through the top of the first stitch. And I'm going to do an extra stitch so I can fasten off and pull through, finishing my round and my step 2. I'm now going to take my pink and place that on my hook with a slip knot for step 3. And for step 3, we're working one round of double crochet in pink. So we first want to join in the top of the stitch at your underarm point with a single crochet join. So I've got my stitch on my hook, I come in, pull through, and we're working on the right side. So I've got 2 loops, yarn round hook, pull through both. Then I'm going to chain up 2, 1, 2 for my height. And I'm going to take my 2 ends. So I've got my fasten off end of my blue and the tail of my pink. And I'm going to work over the top of these, so you can pinch them along the edge of your work. And I'm going to trap these in when I work one double crochet through the top of the stitch in each stitch all the way round. So just working in the top of the stitch, one double crochet in each stitch all the way around to complete step 3. And when you get to the end of the round, I'm going to join in the top of the stitch, so the second chain up from the beginning, at the start of the round, with a slip stitch. And I'm going to fasten off my round by working one extra chain, one extra stitch through, taking my scissors, snipping and pulling through to fasten off and finishing step 3. I'm now going to work on step 4, and this is the final colour band of our sleeve. And we're working in our orange. And I want to start with that on my hook. So working my slip knot, placing that on my hook. And I'm working on the right side, but I'm joining in with my colour change method for the first round. So I'm going to do a single crochet join, and to get our colour change on the front, we're working back, round the front, back, then yarn round hook, pull through all of those pink stitches. I've got my 2 loops on my hook, yarn round hook, pull through both to complete my first single crochet and my single crochet join. I'm then going to chain 2, 1, 2 to get my height, and then I'm going to put my end behind, and I can bring it behind and along the top so I can trap my ends as I go. So I'm now going to continue working double crochets all the way around using my raised colour stitch detail and trapping my ends. So I'm going to go yarn round hook. I want to work over the top of those ends. Then I'm going from the back round the front to the back, coming through. Then I want those ends to lie over the top of my hook, and I'm going to go yarn round hook, pull through my pink stitches. I'm left with 3 loops on my hook, yarn round hook, pull through 2, yarn round hook, pull through 2 to complete my double crochet. So yarn round hook, I'm going over the top of those ends, so over them, back, front, back for my colour change. Then make sure my ends are over my hook, yarn round hook, pull through my pink stitches. I've got 3 loops on my hook, yarn round hook, pull through 2, left with 2, yarn round hook, pull through 2. And I'm going to work that all the way along my round, working 1 double crochet with my back, front, back colour change detail in each stitch all the way around. And as you get to the end, I'm going to join by working a slip stitch in my second chain up from the beginning to complete my round. I'm now going to work round 2. So I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, 3 for my height, and then I'm going to work 1 double crochet into each stitch all the way around. So I'm working 1 double crochet into each stitch all the way around. And when you get to the end of your round, of any rounds after round 1, so for rounds 2, 3 and 4, if you're working round 4, you want to now join in the top of the 3rd chain, because we didn't have a single crochet. We've now got 3 chains for our height. So make sure you join in the top of the 3rd chain to complete your rounds before you start your next round. And for a size 1 and 2, you're going to work 4 rounds in total of orange, and for a size 3, you're going to work 3 rounds in total of orange. And this is also the section that you can personally customize to make your sleeves longer or shorter. So you might want to reduce the amount of rounds here or increase them depending on your own arm length, if you want a different length to that of the pattern. And when you get all the way around, you're going to join in the top of the 3rd chain and then work 1 extra stitch to fasten off when you've completed the right amount of rounds for your size or to fit you. And there you go, completing step 4, finishing off part 6 and completing your sleeve. You now want to repeat all of those steps on your second sleeve to finish your complete pair. And then you've got all of the main elements of your sweater completed. Yay! We're so close to finishing our jumpers. I really hope you've enjoyed learning all the different techniques so far. We also have a special competition for those of you that post their finished jumpers on Instagram by the 17th of November, and 5 lucky winners will get picked. Just make sure that you tag the @PreskeMal, Hobby Yarn and Katie Jones Knit in your post. Good luck with finishing your sleeves, and I'll see you next week for our final part.